You feel it, the quiet exhaustion, the sense of being a participant in a game where the rules are written in a language you were never taught. You offer substance, and it is met with a distracted glance. You propose depth, and it is met with the flicker of a screen. You are speaking to someone, but their consciousness is elsewhere, pulled by a silent, constant referendum held by invisible spectators. You are competing with ghosts, and the woman in your life, or the one you are trying to have in your life, seems hungry. Not for you, but for the reflection of herself in 10,000 eyes. Her mood is a volatile currency, rising and crashing on the metrics of likes, comments, and the attention of strangers. Her presence is fractured. You receive only a piece of it. The rest is owed to the audience. This isn't jealousy. It is a profound and legitimate disorientation. You are trying to build something real in a world that has made reality optional. And it is getting worse because the modern world has weaponized a biological imperative. It has taken a deep, ancient drive and turned it into a pathology of emptiness. In this video, we will dissect the circuitry of this compulsion. We will move past the shallow accusations and the political slogans and descend to the bedrock, evolutionary biology, the chaos of the modern condition, and the archetypal forces that govern female attention. We are not here to judge. We are here to understand the mechanism, because what you are witnessing is not simply a personal choice. It is the shadow self of an ancient strategy running amok in a digital funhouse. To understand the present pathology, you must first understand the ancient adaptation. Strip away the Instagram filters, the social justice platitudes, the entire veneer of modernity. We are looking at a human female, Homo sapiens, on the Pleistocene savanna. Her biological burden is immense, absolute. The successful propagation of her genetic line. This is not about romance. This is about survival in its most brutal, Darwinian terms. Her imperative is twofold, and it is encoded in her very nervous system. First, mate selection. This is the engine of hypergamy. Her investment in reproduction is astronomically higher than the male's. 9 months of gestation, years of lactation, a dependency that threatens her own survival. Therefore, her selector must be of the highest possible quality. Not just strength, but status, resourcefulness, stability, and the genetic promise embodied in health and symmetry. She is the ultimate curator of the gene pool. Her attention is not a light. It is a spotlight, a discerning search beam scanning for the optimal genetic and social bet. In its raw state, female attention is exclusive, conditional, and ruthlessly selective. Second, alliance building. In a world of direct physical threat and scarce resources, a woman and her vulnerable offspring cannot survive alone. Her social capital is her lifeline. Her perceived value within the tribe, her relationships, her alliances, her social standing, directly determines her safety and the safety of her children. To be without allies is to be prey. Therefore, the capacity to garner positive attention, to cultivate favor, to build networks of reciprocity, is not a vanity. It is a survival algorithm. Her attention-seeking, in its ancestral environment, was not about accumulation for its own sake. It was about building a coalition for protection. So we have the primordial blueprint, a psyche engineered to seek the highest value mate, and to constantly fortify her position within a web of essential social alliances. Her attention is her primary currency in both markets. Now, observe the genius of the adaptation. This need for social valuation created a powerful feedback loop. The more attention and status she could attract from the broader group, particularly from other high-status individuals, the more her mate value increased. Her social proof became part of his calculus. This created an intrinsic link in the female psyche between broad social validation and personal sexual value. This is the bedrock. The promiscuous attention-seeking we see today is not a new invention. It is this ancient life-or-death circuitry, the circuitry of selective hypergamy and tribal alliance, detached from its original purpose. The search beam is still on, scanning, but it is no longer looking for a single, high-value target or a stable coalition. It is spinning in a room of mirrors, reflecting endless copies of itself, mistaking the echo for the tribe. The addiction begins when this deep, biological need for meaningful valuation is presented with an infinite supply of counterfeit coin. Now we bridge the chasm. How does this precise, adaptive mechanism become the source of its own misery? How does a survival algorithm become a pathology? The modern world is a Pleistocene anomaly. It has removed the constraints that gave the female attention strategy its shape and its meaning. We have taken the circuitry designed for a small, face-to-face tribe of 150 individuals and plugged it into the global digital hive. First, the marketplace is corrupted. Social media and dating apps are not communities. They are infinite bazaars. Hypergamy, the drive to seek the best possible mate, evolved in a context of perhaps a few dozen eligible males. The female selector could make a meaningful assessment. Now, her interface presents 10,000. The illusion of limitless upward choice creates a state of paralytic option overload. The selector becomes a browser, trapped in a loop of comparison and potential. She is not seeking a mate. She is auditing a catalog. The biological imperative to seek the best becomes a psychological command to never choose, because a better option is always the next swipe away. Second, social proof is digitized and weaponized. Recall, her social standing was her lifeline. Likes, follows, and views are a grotesque, hyper-efficient parody of this ancient need for tribal validation. The brain cannot distinguish between the approval of a vital, flesh-and-blood coalition and the dopamine hit from the notification of a stranger's click. The platform's architecture transforms her innate alliance-building drive into a quantifiable score. Her worth is no longer sensed, it is counted. This creates a state of permanent, low-grade anxiety, a validation deficit, because the meter can always be higher. The audience is infinite, but its attention is shallow. She has traded a deep, sustaining well for a ceaseless, saltwater drip. Third, we enter the realm of dark psychology. This system is not a passive tool. It is an active predator on that biological circuitry. It employs variable reinforcement schedules, the same mechanism used in slot machines. The unpredictable, intermittent reward of a like, a flirtatious comment, a new match, is neurologically identical to the pull of a lever. It creates compulsion. It fosters addiction. She is not building alliances. She is feeding a machine designed to keep her hungry. Society does not manipulate this instinct, it farms it. Her pain, her loneliness, her innate desire for meaningful valuation is the product. Her attention and engagement are the commodities sold to the highest advertiser. This is the modern trap. The very instincts that once ensured survival and propagation now ensure fragmentation and emptiness. The archetype of the queen, securing her position through wise alliance, is reduced to the specter of the ghost queen, ruling a kingdom of profiles, adored by phantoms, starving in a hall of mirrors. Her addiction to attention is not a moral failing. It is a logical, terrifying outcome of placing an ancient, precise biological script into a context of limitless, meaningless feedback. The man who tries to offer something real, singular focus, depth, commitment, is no longer competing with other men. He is competing with the phantom of all potential men and the neurological heroin drip of quantified social proof. He is a stone, offering the solidity of the earth, while she is addicted to the flicker of the flame. This is the desolate landscape of the modern condition. But it is not the final word. So here is the unvarnished substrate. The promiscuous attention-seeking you witness is not a new form of empowerment. It is an ancient form of vulnerability, exploited at scale. It is the biological imperative of selective hypergamy and tribal alliance building, severed from their evolutionary anchors and amplified into a self-cannibalizing loop. The woman chasing the digital phantom is not acting out of freedom, but from a deep, atavistic compulsion, a compulsion that once meant life, and now cultivates a specific kind of spiritual death. She confuses visibility for value and quantity of attention for quality of connection. The system is designed for that confusion. It profits from it. You are not dealing with a person who is whole. You are engaging with a fractured archetype, a queen in exile, trying to rule a kingdom that does not exist. Her addiction is to the shadow of what she truly needs, genuine valuation from a worthy individual, and a real, protective community. The modern world sells her the simulacrum and calls it liberation. This is the bitter red pill. Much of what is labeled as female autonomy today is, in fact, a more sophisticated form of bondage to the collective gaze. It is the shackles of the tribe, now self-imposed and mistaken for a crown. Stoic piece of advice. How, then, do you navigate this desolate terrain? You do not fix her. You cannot save her from her own labyrinth. That is her journey, her burden of consciousness to bear. Your task is to rectify your own vision. First, see the mechanism. When you encounter the behavior, do not react with anger or supplication. See the ancient circuitry sparking in the modern void. See the addiction. This understanding drains the situation of its personal sting. It is not about your inadequacy. It is about her captivity to a phantom. Your judgment is useless. Your clarity is essential. Second, become a real option in a world of fantasies. The cure for an addiction to counterfeit attention is not more attention, it is meaningful substance. Do not shout into the digital noise. Cultivate the parts of your being that are undeniable, tangible, and real. Your competence, your integrity, your capacity to build and provide in the physical world. Your ability to engage in a single, focused conversation without a phone as a witness. Become a man of substance in a world that trades in shadows. You offer not the infinite promise of the digital catalog, but the finite, profound reality of a genuine choice. Third, establish boundaries as if your soul depends on it, because it does. You cannot build a shared reality with someone whose primary relationship is with an audience. You must have the courage to say, without malice and without negotiation, what you are engaged with is a phantom. I am here in reality. If you wish to join me here, the door is open. But you must leave your ghosts outside. Then, you must be prepared to walk away if the choice is not made. This is not punitive. It is the necessary filtration for your own life. You are selecting for the capacity to be real. Closing line. The deepest paradox is this. The woman who can turn away from the 10,000 eyes is the only one who can ever truly see you. And in that mutual recognition, free from the spectacle, outside the hive, something ancient and quiet and real can finally begin.